Alright, I have a really interesting team game to show today, and we're starting with my favorite counter trick. So I really like this variation, and I think this is really tricky. Tricky me. So this sets up a check on green, and this queen is also hanging. So that's why this is justified because my king is kind of secured. Now it's possible to take this, and then if blue tries going for it all, I think there's a chance to play like this. So now knight f4. Yeah, there are some funny queen traps here, like let's see, this might not be quite enough for a trapped queen, but like here, blue should probably take the bishop, and then I can move my... Yeah, this didn't really solve the problem, right? Alright, so let's just try the most straightforward thing. So check, and now you should probably stop the knight from jumping. Because this is checkmate, yeah. That didn't work. Alright, let's see this again. So that you probably should not take there. Is there a way to go a little bit? Actually, let's play the normal move. And now still knight f4, and now I'll try this rook sacrifice. Whoa, that wasn't an intended move. Alright, so you take the rook. Now you're really asking for it. Like here, green really should consider sacrificing. The problem is that the queen is trapped. Yeah, so green has to give up this knight. Otherwise, the queen would be trapped. Then if you try to run the queen out, then just takes. And I guess any tempo move will work. This is not so easy. Well, I guess it is. This must be mating. Now you're just mating green instead. So the idea was to set up this check, but it's not really working. Yeah, and if you can't play like that, like you can't, if you want to be really ugly, then you'll play L6, it stops the mate, And now I'll just hit the queen, and after this check there's a counter check, and pretty much regardless of the move here, the king moves up and it's going to be checkmate. If you take this, then we have a basic mating pattern. So after, I think this is the it seems to me that the rook sack here is really justified, because this after queen takes on d6, the queen is actually trapped. So that brings me to some other moves. I mean, but the problem with protecting this pawn is that, yeah, you can play this, but then he just takes the knight, and next move I will protect the mate on the back row. So I think queen d10 is a problem for blue and green. So they played a really critical move here, and now I answered with this really direct idea. So the point is that yellow is now set up to check green. One tricky variation I found was this queen j6, and then after check takes, blue has to play pawn to d10 to stop yellow from hitting the queen. The problem is that there is a there should be a check here. Let's see. So I thought I figured it out last time. Okay, so it takes my queen. Right now I don't see it. That's weird. Why didn't... It was supposed to be a mate there. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, you just take the pawn because the queen is in check. And then after this bishop move, there's no way to stop queen i10, which would pick up the queen. And critically, if you try to defend with the blue position, then check, and this blocker does nothing because I have bishop takes on c6, or even the next move. I mean, I could play pretty much any random move here, like knight out, and after bishop takes g12, it just takes, and after this check, you can just take the bishop and they lose the game. So that was the other variation. So that pretty much forces them to react in a weird way. like you could go defend the queen from the other side, but then you're really not feeling that great after this sort of thing. I think there are some tricks even, like I'm not sure I want to take. Maybe I'll move the knight. So now he has the option of checking again. Yeah, maybe I should move the queen. So let's just trade the queens off. Put the bishop to a nice diagonal and take it from there. I mean, I got an open file that's really useful, whereas green had to move his king and then also kind of weaken this king position. So I think this is good for red and yellow. And also it's one of the only ways to play here, because it's hard to develop without getting in trouble, mating trouble, and even blue can just go for the rook with queen takes e2 and queen takes d1. So this is critical, and now they sack the queen for my queen, and I think we played normal moves for a while. I feel that knight e10 is a mistake, but it's not horrible. But probably this bishop takes a9 is really risky. So the only variation I was worried about here was bishop takes c6 and then b5 takes c6, not recapturing this bishop, because I feel like I'm getting in a huge amount of trouble after queen e4 check and possibly c5 bishop takes e2. He developed the bishop, and now I'm setting up a check on blue, and green count hits my rook, so I moved it away, and now green covers the check kind of for the moment at least. So you could play that check and queen h12. The problem there was he can just take it. Green can't take the queen because I'm not having this bishop g1 follow-up. So that's the reasoning behind bishop h2. And I think this move is a blunder, c4. But it's really hard to play here. I don't see a great defense. Probably c5 was needed to block off this bishop g1 idea. And now if knight takes knight b6 check and queen h12, then green still takes the knight. I mean, I take on c6 in the end, so I do pick up the rook, but after all of that, blue might hit my f1 rook, but that can be protected with rook f14. Yeah, let's just see that. So after c5, I'm not sure exactly what to play. Yeah, you can probably play queen h12 directly. Yeah, this seems like a problem. One idea I thought about was this queen a5, which looks ridiculous at first, but then you're sitting there thinking and you're like, what do you do now? Because the move order is wrong. Really, you want yellow to take and then green to red to check afterwards. So one idea I thought about was what was it again? I think it was rook f4. And the idea was that now yellow takes the green queen, and you're not really in time. And if you block off, then the check is really problematic. Probably you have to play something like d8 there. Yeah, this is looking sketchy at the very least. Probably you can take now. Yeah, this is just good. So here I thought, yeah, this is critical in a way because it just asks the knight you have to move now. And I think this was a mistake. Let's see. Yeah, so the variation I figured was stronger was to play knight i12 here, which is a really combative move, I must say. And now probably green should sacrifice the piece with bishop takes h3. The problem with this one is that I mean, it might not be a big problem, but after check, king over, now queen h12, bishop takes let's see that. So queen takes is really critical here, and then I should play bishop g1, and now blue can actually block out the queen with the idea that green has a check. So let's take knight for good measure, then check, takes, and taking this doesn't work. And if you take with the queen, then I take the king. So this is good. Let's see. Probably you have to block off the bishop. But then after takes, check, takes, takes. Yeah, they seem to get away there. So what? Yeah, so this bishop is hanging. So here yellow should take. Yeah, I think that's right. Because now if trades, then I just take the bishop for free. And that's really game. So this bishop h2 idea was really strong, but I think the follow-up was not the best. Had we kept the cool for one more move, it would have been really nice. Like, yeah, so queen I13 I think wins for us. So the idea here was, yeah, the idea I had here was to block the queen out, and then like a natural idea is to open up the bishop to hit the king. And now I can play pretty much anything, but this knight is immune because there's a double check here, which would be a mate. So I can play any aggressive move I like I can even hit the knight. But really I think bishop g1 is the move you want to play anyways. And now my idea was oh yeah, this was really nice. This was the idea. So if you move the bishop pawn like so, which would allow an escape square, then there's a really nice combination here. So there's check, and if green does not check on yellow, then I just check and it takes the knight, takes the rook, everything is working out. A critical try is to take the knight, and now I just take back. The point is that if rook takes, bishop takes c6, and knight c8 is unstoppable checkmate. So probably green should try and drum up something with bishop takes d13. And now what I really like here is bishop takes c6. Force him to take the queen, and then you just have some fun, you know. That's a nice checkmate. It's the same motif, but like if I had played this one here, then the king runs, and while I'm sure there's checkmate somewhere here, you don't really, it's not that fun, you know. This is still checkmate with knight takes d6, but I think the queen sack was prettier, so that's why you should play bishop takes c6 if you have the opportunity. So basically this looks like it's winning. If you play something like L7, then I still check, king over, and after yeah, that's a good question. What was the idea here? I had some idea, just forgot at this moment. Yeah, so we just take the knight. No, then your queen is hanging. You should move the queen, of course. Maybe this move looks interesting to me. And now if you take the knight, I play bishop g1. Ah, this is not so easy. Probably this is better. Now it looks like this is almost over. You will lose the knight for free. Unless there's a bishop e10, 12 here. Yeah, I had not really considered this option of pushing the pawn. Maybe you still move here. Take. Yeah, this is nice. Look at this. Wow. This is really nice. So now the king is kind of locked down. But if you block, then hello. That's going to be checkmate. So I think queen f2 is winning here. You're kind of forcing this check, but then you're getting mated. Like this check must be good. So you move the king, take that one, and now the queen is hit. So let's say you move it somewhere. Now I'm curious. maybe that's too optimistic. I don't know. Oh, this is just checkmate, isn't it? Ah, no, because yellow didn't have a move. So now I should play something like this one. And the bishop is immune because queen a7 would be checkmate. So you have to take the knight. And then you can play queen a7. Oh, that's probably not the best, but it should be good enough. Yeah, so green might try this counter sacrifice, but it shouldn't work out because, well, I mean, this move for one, but also just piling up maybe I don't know anymore. Like, let's say he tries to go for my king, and then if you run, go down, take, check, and this check is not a problem. Taking the knight is also possible, but if you run, then there's a rook b11 check, when rook f9 would be checkmate, and this one doesn't really promise anything. So let's say you take it, and now you check, takes for instance, and now any king move. So the king is forced up, and then you just take the rook, Probably you should take something here, like check. I mean check with something, but now they're just out of material. So let's go back. I think that queen a7 is mating. You could try queen takes e12, but then bishop g1 and rook f9 saves the queen and also sets up a mating attack. And if you don't like that, maybe you just castle here. I don't know. No. You just block out the queen. Being really greedy. Let's say you hit the rook. And now this one looks good. So now I'm setting up a check. Let's say you try to force me away from that one. Then you could take here. Yeah, why not? Let's say green goes for it. And now the finishing touches. Probably have to block this. Yeah. And now you just castle. Oh, you can't castle. Forgot about that. Did he move the king? Huh. Okay. But I mean, it's not really a problem here. You can just move the king. Yeah, I really thought yellow could castle. Maybe you can't. I mean, in the worst case, you can just block with the pawn. Yeah, like here. There's not much going on. The knight covers everything. Yeah, this queen f2 move is really nice. And you could also right here. There's also the option of moving the king, but I mean, there's a bishop there, you should probably take it. This one is very interesting. So if you move the king in this direction, then queen f... Oh, that's hanging again. Totally forgot again. This bishop hits f14. Yeah, I think this was good, and just take this knight, set up the mate. I mean, it's also possible to just give up the knight pretty much for nothing, but now you're really weakening the back rank. I would probably not do that and just take the knight. Alright, so just let's go back to the game continuation. So in the game we played queen h12, which was really good. I mean, you can't really fault this play that much. But here I made a critical mistake. I mean, it wasn't a bad one, but I shouldn't have played queen k5 here. The correct move is knight c5 when the game is over. I mean, completely. After knight c5, I don't even know what to suggest. Blue is just running out of material, and even if green goes and takes my rook on k1, it doesn't really matter. So knight c5 is the best move for sure. And here I kind of gave back a lot of time to blue. And still in this position I should still play knight c5. And especially in this position. After bishop takes j2 I should play knight c5. Setting up the check on blue. Critically it's kind of forcing blue to move the king again, because this check is impossible to deal with, because yellow can just win both bishop and knight. So this was a bad move, and here we kind of made it a little bit difficult, but I think we are still the better side. I was considering rook takes j7 here, with bishop j5 and bishop takes m8. And I think that was working, but there was some minor problems with what was it? Yeah, rook i10 was the problem. So I reconsidered, and then I just opened the file, so I wasn't really happy with my play here. Possibly I can play rook j4. Yeah, it's not so simple. Probably this was a bad move, because this bishop took away the only active square for blue to go after my king. I mean, it was a safety first move, but sometimes those are bad, and this move is really bad. I mean, what was that? The problem was just time, and if I play something like bishop g3 or really anything else, then we're just better and winning as well. I think even after this blunder we are better, but now it's not so clear. Now it's anyone's game. So here it's funny that I didn't even notice that I hung my knight. But I mean, I really wanted this blue rook out of there, so yellow was not getting mated. So I think it was the correct decision to just leave the knight there. It didn't really have any prospects regardless. So now yellow is ready to play rook f9 with rook b9 check. And this is a really good defensive move if you ask me. Rook h14 is not sufficient because I have rook. Do I have that? Yeah, I think I have that. It's not so clear. I also have rook takes j7. No, but then rook i14. Yeah, I think I have to give back the rook. So now here it was possible to pin the knight, remove the king. I mean, it's logical that he did that, because if it doesn't, then maybe yellow will hit the rook and I will just check until they have to give up this valuable blue rook. So now we're just defending, and I think castling was a big mistake. A better move would be knight knight n10, with the idea that now your king can run. Castling really gets into trouble immediately. This check is deadly. Now I even sacked the rook for it. And that blue rook was really valuable, so I'm not complaining at all. And now I'm bringing the last rook into the game, and if it reaches the file a4 to n4 file, a rank maybe, then I'm just delivering checkmate. So now I'm really close and it's really hard for green to stop it. I think bishop h5 was probably the best move in this position. The idea to block off the file, basically. Like knight f4, bishop h5, but then they're running low on material. And this is the final blue knight, so it's not easy at this point. And this was, had the blue knight not moved, let's say he just attacks the rook, then it's critical that you move this rook past the file of the knight. So there are two winning moves in this position. That's rook j5 and rook n5. Because there the king cannot capture and the knight is not able to block next move. So as such, then we see what happened in the game. Then we set up this checkmate, and that's really unstoppable if the blue knight is not able to block. And that's checkmate. So I hope you enjoyed that game, and thanks for watching.